Hogan.
Well, thank you very much, and good morning. Welcome into today's community comment. Again, as Kale mentioned, I'm your host, Kevin Haugen, filling in for Terry Bell this morning on the program. It is my pleasure to welcome into the Daily Dodge TV studios. Joining us on the show today are members with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have in the studio this morning Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson, Officer Matt Edwards, and Officer Andy Strakota. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us on the program today.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And it was sort of a last-minute adjustment for us due to a little scheduling hiccup. We hadn't had a real chance to sort of dive into what we want to talk about. I know one of the primary topics we'll be discussing the roles that Andy Strakota and Matt Edwards do with the school resource officers and what that looks like at the schools here. We'll dive into that here in just a couple of minutes. But if you have a question for our guests, you can call or text the lines at 920-885-4446. Again, that number is 920-885-4446. If you have a question for the members of the Beaver Dam Police Department, again, here on Community Comment this morning.
We enjoy the calls.
Yes.
So yes, please call if you're thinking about it. It's one of those things where I like interacting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and I like it, and you guys will too, when they call in and they have questions of anything. It doesn't need to be about school resource officers. It can be about anything to do with the police department or our community, anything like that. So please call.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. If you ever have a question of law enforcement and you feel, I don't know if I want to call into the station and maybe bother, this is a great opportunity to call in and get those answers to those questions that you may have out there. And again, you have the next hour to call into the show. And before we will take our first break, I just want to maybe do a little quick introduction with, obviously a lot of people know already Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson, his role. He's been here quite often, but with our school resource officer folks here, just maybe just a quick background and how they got into that position and what they do in that role. And we'll dive into more of that here later in the program. But we'll start with Matt Edwards and his role and what you do as the school resource officer.
Yeah, so Matt Edwards, been with Beaver Dam for 9 years now in May. As a police officer, been in the school job now going on the last 4 years. Primary at the elementary school, but I do back up the high school and middle school SRO if they're on vacation or anything like that. So get to go up and experience that as well. But my position was created about 4 years ago when I went into it, and now I cover all 4 elementary schools for the city.
And Andy.
I'm Andy Strakota. I've been here at Beaver Dam Police Department for 26 years. Been in the schools for about 4 years. I kind of got into it because I coached like every sport in Beaver Dam, and I kind of thought, like, why not get paid to coach at school and every day? It's a neat experience. Primarily, I'm at the middle school. Matt and I kind of started in the schools together, and we float all over. We're back and forth from one school to the other. Everybody that needs it has the right phone number, and they'll call when they need us.
Yeah, Beaver Dam is sort of in a unique position how they have essentially a dedicated officer for each level of school, at elementary, middle school, and high school as well. And that's something that really a lot of communities don't necessarily have the fortune, are fortunate enough to have that.
Correct.
Yeah. We go to a lot of different conferences throughout the year, and a lot of times when we're talking and networking with these other school resource officers from other areas, they're talking to us and they're going, wait, you got 3 for your size of district? And we're talking some districts that have 2 high schools, 3 middle schools, 13 elementary schools, and they have 2 of them for all of those schools, compared to us where we're very fortunate to have the number of SROs we do for the size we have.
Yeah,
I would definitely say it's super supported by Mark DeStefano. He's very much behind that. Our chief too. They created Matt's position as a 3rd position. There had been 2 of us for a while, or 2 SROs for a while, but they added the 3rd position, and it's made a big difference.
Yeah, and you mentioned a really important part is the collaboration between not only having the support for the officers in the Beaver Dam Police Department to do this, but also the support of the school district to have dedicated officers at each school. Obviously, safety and having a presence there is really important nowadays, but it's great to see that sort of working together partnership develop, and having officers at each school is great to see. Again, our guests here on a community comment this morning are with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and Officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota, the school resource officers for the elementary and middle schools here in Beaver Dam. We do have to take a short break. More community comment is coming up next.
Every financial
Thank you, Jake, and welcome back into our second segment of Community Comment this morning. Joining us on the show are members of the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and Officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota, school resource officers at the elementary and middle school here in Beaver Dam. Again, if you have a question for our guests You can call or text 920-885-4446. Again, 920-885-4446 if you have a question for the folks with Beaver Dam Police Department. Now is a great time to get those questions answered during the next 45 minutes or so that we have left with our guests here on the show today. And the bulk of our conversations, again, will be focused primarily on the two special guests that we have today here, and that's their roles as school resource officers here in the Beaver Dam Unified School District. We spent a little bit before break talking about just sort of the unique position Beaver Dam is in, having three school resource officers here in the district with Tony Carroll here also at the high school. But we want to spend really the second segment here diving into what you guys do really on a day-to-day basis, and some of the responsibilities and roles that come with the school resource officer position. And whoever wants to jump off here, Matt or Andy, doesn't matter to me. Matt seems like he's leaning up a little bit to the mic, so we'll start with Matt and just sort of dive into kind of the responsibilities of a school resource officer.
Yeah, so for me, with being in the elementary school, it's a lot of mentorship with the younger kids. Our kind of joke between the three SROs is my job's to make Andy's job easier, Andy's job's to make Tony's job easier, working with the kids. But a lot of mentorship, walking in and out of classes with kids, talking to kids. It's kind of funny sometimes. Kids will be like, "Hey, I saw your friends last night," and I go, "I don't really have friends. Like, what are you talking about?" And they'll be like, "Oh, the cops were at my house." And it's like, "Oh, okay, yep, we don't need to announce that to your class." And then it's like, "Oh, okay, that's a kid I'm gonna go talk to a little bit more, check in on them, and see how they're doing." But I mean, we have a very good working relationship with the district, so my day-to-day basis is not like patrol. You know, I kind of split my days up between the four schools. I'll do about a half day at each school. So basically throughout the week, I have basically a full day at every school when it comes to it. And then my Friday schedule is kind of open, where I'll stop in at every school to kind of check in with them before the weekend, just to make sure if anything's going on or if they need me to follow up on anything.
Sure,
And at my level, if we deal with truancy or anything like that, it's more coming from the parents. It's not really from the kids. It's the parents are choosing not to bring their kids to school, which I know that frustrates the school, frustrates us as the police department as well. But I'm not dealing with like kind of the truancy that the middle school or high school is dealing with like the kids not choosing to go there. But overall, it's more mentorship and kind of just interacting with kids and giving them that positive role model and showing them the different side of law enforcement that they might not be able to see.
Yeah.
I think to add to that a little bit, it's nice for us as patrol officers to have you guys as a resource. There are times where some issues spill out into the community after school or even before school, where we can use you guys and say, "Hey, we had contact with this kid. What's going on?" And you guys can kind of guide us on how to handle a situation, because you know these kids and you've talked with them, and you know sometimes that'll sway what we do to help solve the problem based on the information that you guys provide, and that's huge to us as patrol officers.
Yeah.
You know, and knowing what might be going on, what might be causing the issues. So.
And it definitely swings both ways. Things happen out in the community. Our patrol guys are really good about letting us know, "Hey, last night we whatever," because we deal with it at school the next day.
Yeah.
So it's a good partnership back and forth. I know he talked about kind of like a resource. We'll get a message or something from one of the road guys saying, "Hey, I got this kid. Who's he hang out with?" Well, we usually know.
Yep.
And they don't know who it is, but we can help identify it. I'll kind of jump on the truancy thing. We started a municipal truancy court 2.5 years ago, maybe. Kind of modeled it after another community, went to Judge Snow, the municipal judge, and said, "Hey, are you willing to try this?" And he's like, "Absolutely, let's do it." So middle school, high school kids, Tony and I, we work with the dean of students, what have you. There's kids that'll miss 30, 40 days of school. Like, you don't get paid if you don't go to work. Your job is to be at school. Yep. So yes, they'll get a citation, which basically gets them into court. I've been there for a variety of them. Yeah, there's a fine amount attached to it. I don't know that I've seen anyone have to pay a fine yet. Judge will. The neat part of the way this works is the administration from each school will be there. Mm-hmm. So when the judge says, "Hey, kid, you missed 30 days of school," he says, "No, I only missed 5. Well, The computer's sitting right there, and they can look it up. They talk about missing assignments. They talk about tardies, what have you. Sometimes, if they're extreme cases, the judges put them on house arrest. That's where we will work with our road guys who will do house checks to see if a kid's home. You know, they could leave to go to church or go out shopping with their folks, but they better not be running around on their bike in town. Or when they go back to the judge, you can imagine how that conversation goes.
Yes, that's, you know, and we've had on patrol, we go knock on the door and everything's fine, everything's good. Every once in a while, you'll stumble across some kids that aren't listening to that requirement by the judge. And yeah, you get some interesting excuses. And when that feedback does get back to the judge, it is one of those things where he does address it seriously. Yes.
Well, and I can tell you when our road guys started doing house checks, word spread like wildfire.
It did.
I heard about it within an hour of being at school the next day. I don't have specific numbers, but at a year or so ago, I had asked for some numbers, and it was like 90% of the kids followed through with their orders, which means they were catching up on their classes, they were coming to school. It's something.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
And it does impact too, because I know, because we go knock on the door, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I'm just making sure that you're home, following your rules. And I talk with the kids, and they're like, and I got my homework done, and I'm getting a C instead of a, you know, and they you know, it's awesome. It's awesome because they know that they have to turn it around. And I think that's one of the things that's actually, it's making an impact. So.
Yeah, and we do have a caller waiting on line 1. Let's head to the phones and say welcome to Community Comment.
Hi, Kevin. How are you? Long time no talk.
Yeah, yes. How's it going, Tyler? How are you?
It's good. How about you? I never had that problem where I was under house arrest at all.
Well, that's good.
That is good.
We would like that.
I just want to know, how much is a truancy ticket for first offense? And then does it double each time?
It depends on the age.
Yep.
Like
Starting
the
at
middle school
92.50?
kids are like 92.50.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I don't know what the high school kid is. It the same?
I
don't
think it's the
recall.
same.
Until you reach 17, I believe, right? And then, yeah.
I think the contributing to truancy citation that I write to parents is the most costly one. I want to say that one's like $565. A lot of times too, I don't know many families that have had to pay that full fine amount. It's been more get the families into court. Judge Snow again checks into the family, see what's going on with them, and then as long as attendance approves, usually the citations ends up being dismissed.
I just thought I'd ask. Thank you all for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler, again for the phone call. Again, if you have a question for our guests, you can call 920-885-4446. Maybe one more question before we head to the break. And something you guys kind of already mentioned and touched upon a little bit already, and something that we bring up, I feel like every time we have a chance to talk with members of the school resource officer team, and that's just being able to build a relationship with students in a light that is a positive place between police and the youth in the community. You guys mentioned a lot of times you're running into these families and these young kids, and a lot of times on not a very good days when they see police show up to their front doors. Being able to have positive interactions and positive experiences with these young kids, I'm sure, is helping build a positive light, shine a positive light on the Beaver Dam Police Department, what you guys do to these youth.
Yeah, I guess a good one that I can talk about for that is my first year, because we started my position in February, so kind of halfway through the school year, is one of my friend's kids went to one of the elementary schools here, and she saw me walking into her lunchroom for the first time and got excited and said, "Oh, hi, Matt," and the kid sitting next to her went, "Why are you talking to the cops? I don't like cops." And it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird to hear from a second grader. Well, finding out his dad was arrested on a domestic the night before, and he had saw him removed in handcuffs, and by the end of that year, that kid was coming up to me, giving me a hug, and, we had worked on that relationship throughout the year, and, he'd tell me, "Hey, my dad's getting out soon," and, super excited, and, we talked about it. Sometimes we make mistakes, and we got to learn from them, and it's okay, but, that was a good example of, just kind of that positive impact on one kid, that kind of had this hatred because of what he had saw, but then throughout the year and just getting to know me, we were best friends by the end of the year.
I think they start to realize that we put a uniform on and it's our job, but we're still humans. There's kids that have gone to the high school, middle school, whatever, I can speak for Tony and I that like are adults and they'll reach out to us like, hey, can I talk to you? We obviously made some kind of relationship with them, and it's someone for them to lean on. You know, we're all humans. We make mistakes. Just let's not make them huge that we can't recover from.
Right.
Right.
Again, our guests here on Community Comment today are with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and Officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota. We have to take another break. More Community Comment is coming up next.
How about with the
Well, thank you, Jake, and welcome back into our third segment of Community Comment this morning. Again, our guests on the show are with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota. Both serve as school resource officers at the elementary and middle school. Also, be important to shout out Tony Carroll, who also is the school resource officer at the high school here in the Beaver Dam Unified School District. If you have a question for our guests on the show this morning, you can call 920-885-4446. Again, 920-885-4446 for questions for the Beaver Dam Police Department. Here on Community Comment today, our conversations so far on the program has centered pretty much all around school resource officers, what their roles are in the school district, and the important piece that they play in the young lives of students here in the district. And want to spend a couple of minutes so far discussing here in our third segment a really cool summer school opportunity that I just learned about here just a couple of minutes ago. That Matt Edwards, as a part of Andy Strakota, has also helped out with that as well. But Matt, I'll let you sort of explain this in more detail. You'll do a far better job than I will. But what is this program that has offered here? It's just now coming into its third year here in the district.
Like you said, going into our third year. So about 2 years ago, I kind of approached the school district on their thoughts of maybe adding like a summer school class. And they were all for it. I talked to our chief. He was for it. And it was the most signed up for class that year. We call it like Intro to Police Work. We'll do different things with the kids throughout the 6 weeks that we have them. Bring the K9 in, bring the drone in. We'll do fingerprinting. We'll watch videos. I'll show them traffic stops that I've been on with like the body camera footage. And then we'll do fake traffic stops where, they maybe get to arrest me or, somewhat chase, in the classroom that we're at. But since I'm not a certified teacher, I usually have a teacher with me. And luckily with building those relationships in the school, usually it's been a good friend of mine that's been able to do it. This year, I think I'll have a fourth grade teacher from Washington. He's going to be helping me out this year. It's kind of cool. We actually went to grade school together back in the day. Both of us didn't even know we were working in the same district until I became an SRO. So it was kind of cool to catch up with him. So he's going to help out this year. But it's a great opportunity for the kids. They get to see a bunch of different things. We bring in different officers. So again, kind of showing them another side of law enforcement. So like Joey Salazar has been able to come in, Matt Bublitz, Strakota, Carol, just different ones to kind of introduce them to the kids and introduce the kids to other officers as well. And what's going on in its third year, it's still the most signed up for class in elementary, and we do
The waiting list too is pretty full.
There's a waiting list
right?
always, and the kids have a really fun time. I mean, I got a kid that told me he's signing up for it for his third year in a row. He's hoping to get it, and I'm going, man, I got to think of other stuff we're going to do then because I can't really reuse it if you're doing it for a third year, but it's a good time.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a Citizens Academy Junior version, really.
And I kind of base it off that. I mean, we're not going into some of the use of force and stuff like that in the Citizens Academy, but they get to learn how to handcuff and unhandcuff. We got like board games of Clue that will sometimes work for the older kids. Some of the younger kids, we can't do it just with the class time period and stuff like that. But I mean, it's a good time. It's a good opportunity for the kids, and I think it's one of those that they kind of get to have this fun class, and then parents might send them to a reading or a math class, and gets the kid interested in going to summer school as well.
It's once again, it's just a big relationship building tool for us.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It's a good opportunity. Not only then throughout the 9 months really during the school year, but then over the summer months when kids tend to be a little bit more having more fun.
Freedom.
Yeah, a little more freedoms than you would maybe see during the school year to be still involved in their lives. I'm sure is an important process. And how, I guess, for parents out there who are maybe hearing this for the first time, how do they go about? If they want to get their kid involved in this, how do they get their kid signed up?
Yep. So the district should have sent out the summer school pamphlets. Some do by paper, some will do it by dojo or the emails. So once you get that, you should be able to sign up just right on the website there. And then I don't know what the wait list and all that stuff looks like, but eventually you'll get your schedule then that says these are the classes you got or what you're on the wait list for.
Great, fantastic. And also want to talk about another opportunity for youth here in the school district to work alongside safety officials, and that's the safety patrol team unit, however you guys want to call it. But it's another really cool opportunity for kids to get involved and help out in the district as well.
Yeah, safety patrol. basically any of our schools that have crosswalks, the kids will go out and help the crossing guards. They don't go out on the road or anything like that. They're very well instructed that they have to stay on the sidewalk.
Elementary level.
Yep.
Sure.
But then for our ones that don't have sidewalks, they'll do other stuff like maybe helping the kindergartners get ready at the end of the day, loading up backpacks, snow stuff during the winter because, I mean, if you ever seen kindergartners trying to go out for recess, I mean, that 15-minute recess is about 5 minutes after they get all their gear on.
All the prep work.
It speeds up throughout the year, but the first one is definitely a very short recess. But those kids will help clean lunchrooms. Just another great opportunity. Basically, at the end of the year, we'll do a pizza party for all the kids, but then the teachers pick the kids that either did really well or maybe a kid that doesn't have the opportunity to always go. We do a day to the Dells. Our chief is very good and allows us to do this where we take a group of about 40 to 50 students to the Dells. We'll go to the zoo there, the jet boat, Moose Jaw, and Mount Olympus.
Let them go run around a water park for 2 hours.
It's a full day.
No kid's going to say no to that.
They sleep well on the bus on the way home.
Yeah, bus ride there is very loud. Bus ride on the way back, everybody's almost sleeping.
That's awesome. And how many kids are usually participating in that in a school year?
It kind of depends on the school. I mean, I'd say, if it's a 3-section 5th grade, I'd say we have maybe 40 to 60 kids participating, depending on how many kids sign up. If it's a 2-section school, anywhere from 15 to 30. Just kind of depends. But I mean, each school usually gets to send about 5 to 10 kids, depending on how many we're bringing. And it's a great opportunity for those 5th graders that do go on the trip to kind of meet some other kids that they're going to be going to middle school with. And then they get to meet Officer Strakota, even though he comes in a lot. We'll do presentations throughout the year, and I've brought him down for a couple of them to be like, hey, like this is how it happens at the middle school, and he'll come talk to them as well. So it's great for them to kind of get that introduction going into middle school. And I'll tell kids, hey, just like you come and talk to me, you can go talk to Officer Strakota if you need to talk to somebody. So. And
I do the same thing with Officer Carroll. Hey, I'm not going to be at the high school all the time, but Tony's there. You can go to Tony.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's just diving real back quick into just sort of the levels of the school resource officer set up here in the district. That earlier, Matt, you mentioned that you try to set the stage for Andy Strakota, and then Andy tries to set the stage for Tony Carroll, and it's a really unique and cool opportunity. Again, every time I just think about it, that you're able to introduce these faces and names to kids so that they know about them really since the start of elementary and throughout their entire high school career.
Yeah, and anytime like we have safety drills at the school, whether it be a lockdown, admin hold, fire drill, we're all really good about coming and helping each other out with those, and it's a great opportunity for them to get introduced to those officers as well. I know second shift and day shift have come for those lockdown or admin hold drills as well, and they get to walk the classrooms and the hallways, and then the kids get to go, whoa, look, there's a real police officer walking by, because they're wearing uniforms unlike us. So then I got to remind them, like, I am a real cop, guys.
It's always been kind of fun. Like when I was coaching football, I made it a point. One day I was late, but I'd come in uniform, and they'd go, kind of give you that dirty look, like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But it's a good, like, wait a minute, this guy's my football coach too. So
it's not, he doesn't transform into somebody else entirely when the uniform's on.
Right. It's like bumping into your teacher at the grocery store. What? Yeah, that's right. We got to buy groceries too.
Well, and we do a lot of like all the after school stuff and sports, you name it, concerts. You'll see Tony at a ton of them at the high school. I'll be at a bunch of different things there.
Prom's coming up
this weekend. Matt and I will be around all weekend at prom, at post prom. Let's be honest, just preventative. Or if they need something, we're right there. Yeah. I mean, our road guys are still around, but like we know these kids pretty well. So,
and our patrol does a great job of coming to those after-school events too. If there's a football game going on, they'll stop out if nothing's going on, and it's good for the community to see them as well in that aspect.
Yeah, I was going to say the police does a great job of patrol, even during drop-off and pickup at the beginning, at the end of the school days, of being visible, being out there, knowing, hey, police is and law enforcement is out watching to make sure that that they're protecting the community here.
Well, and those after-school events gives us an opportunity to interact more with like the parents, because obviously they're not at school during the day.
That's huge.
I know multiple different times between Tony or I or Matt, whatever, someone from somewhere else, Oregon or wherever, the visiting team would be like, wow, it's really nice to see you guys here. It just makes us feel better in today's interesting world.
Yeah.
We all see things that happen, but just the presence alone, I think, maybe puts people at ease a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Again, we're with the members of the Beaver Dam Police Department here on Community Comment. We're with Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota. We have to take another break. More Community Comment is coming up next.
WBEV powered by Daily Dodge. It is the last segment for today's community comment, so here is Kevin Haugen.
Thank you, Jake. And again, welcome back into this morning's community comment program. Our guests on the show are with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota joining us on the show this morning. It's your last opportunity here to call in. If you do have a question for our guests here on the program, that number is 920-885-4446. Again, that number is 920-885-4446. And we've been discussing the school resource officer role here on the program, what that entails, really kind of a lot of cool and unique opportunities that the kids also in the district have as part of the that program that's here in the district. And want to maybe shift gears and talk a little bit more about a serious topic here in our last segment, and really sort of the impacts and 10, 15 years ago, this really wasn't an issue, or really at the forefront of an issue here in our community. But really, the growth of social media and the ability of the youth to access stuff online is so much easier now than it was a while ago. And how does that really? And again, I open this up either to Andy or Matt who wants to dive into this. But just really, how has that impacted what you guys see on a day-to-day basis and the role that you guys have?
I think people would be amazed how much we deal with around it. I mean, is social media bad? Absolutely not. Can it be? Yeah, the evil always finds its way into it sometimes. When I started, I would go into the health classes and we would talk about social media and phones and different things like that, and obviously tone it to the age group. After doing a little bit of that, Matt and I have talked, and like sixth grade's, it's too late. Kids are getting phones, whatever age group, or computers or whatever. The amount of kids that I talk to whose parents never even look at their phone is astounding. And then I'll ask them, well, do your parents trust you? Absolutely. Well, do they trust everybody else out in the world? Well, no.
You can't.
It's, you got to monitor what your kids are doing. And that goes for like online gaming, the amount of kids that just online game with people they don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of not good people out there wanting to do not good things. Snapchat, everyone thinks it's the greatest thing in the world because it disappears. That's not a bad thing. It doesn't disappear. It's there.
Yeah.
Okay. Parents just need to pay attention to what their kids are doing. I know a lot of, give the kid a tablet so you can, I don't know, get stuff done at home. We all do it. We've all done it, right?
Yep.
Or put a movie on or whatever, but you have to monitor what they're doing. I mean, there's career criminals out in the world that might not even, most likely aren't even from the U.S., that are preying on these kids. They just had a sextortion presentation here a week and a half ago. This is the second year they did it. The first year, that auditorium at the high school was packed. This year, a quarter. It's stuff people need to know and learn because these kids are really technologically advanced compared to us old guys, right? But we got to stay with it. We have to protect our kids. If the building was on fire, you're going to get your kids out. Is it much different? You hand a kid a cell phone who he takes it into his bedroom at night, and you've now just brought the whole world into that child's bedroom. Why can't that be charged in the kitchen at night? The kids will admit to me straight out, because I say, I'm not going to tell your parents, how often are you on your phone at night when you should be sleeping?
All the time.
All the time.
Yep.
I mean, we're adults. Do we stay up too late once in a while watching a movie or something,
Fully admit
whatever?
it.
Absolutely.
Fully admit it.
Yep.
But, it is what it is.
And as a resource that's available, I'd like to just quickly highlight on Speak Up, Speak Out that is available for not only kids, but that people can go in. Anyone essentially can utilize it.
So and it's really cool. I mean, we will get alerts because they kind of all go to Madison, and then Madison filters it to whatever school that the alert's coming from, or whatever kid. If it maybe it mentions self-harm or anything like that, but what's cool about it, even if it's a weekend and they can't get a hold of one of us because we're not working the weekend, they'll call the police department.
Yes.
And I know you've had it before where they've called and said, hey, and you'll go do a welfare check on the student, and then you'll usually send us an email or leave us a voicemail saying, hey, this is what happened, this is this, so that we kind of have an idea what we're walking back into on Monday with it. But it's a great resource that they use for us.
So it's state run through the Wisconsin school safety, what have you. They have people in Madison. It's an app, or you can get online and sign in online. It can be anonymous. It doesn't have to be anonymous. Yeah. And Matt kind of touched on it. A group of people get emails. If they say it's about a kid at Beaver Dam Middle School, the principal, a couple folks, myself, will get an email. If it's something pressing, needs to be handled, we'll get a phone call. And if I don't answer, they're going to call Matt or Tony or vice versa. We promote using it, and maybe it's just a kid that's worried about his buddy, and it's a way for them to reach out and, hey, can you check in with Matt, kind of thing.
What we never know with those programs like that is we don't know how effective it was to prevent something, to prevent something bad from happening.
Right.
We'll never know. But no news is good news, and it's nice to have things like that. It's a resource where it can be anonymous, can it?
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah. So I
absolutely.
mean that's important too. Of sometimes there's something going on, and something that is not good or might be something that might be about to happen. At least you have that where you can speak up, you can speak out.
Some of them are I don't want to call them frivolous, but they are. So, but
Some
that's
are, yeah.
okay. We can weed through those.
Correct.
There's a trend like across the country. See something, say something. I taught our officers for a lot of years, and I've always told them, if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right.
Right.
Go with it. And if we waste 15 minutes going with something that turns out to nothing, that's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal.
That's the job. Again, we're with the Beaver Dam Police Department. We just have a very short amount of time here left on the program. With that, I want to hand it over to Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson. He's good at fitting things in here at the last minute.
Yep.
I want to first make sure we have just a quick 30 seconds to shout out Matt Edwards for an award he recently won. And then we want to highlight also some traffic changes that are coming up here in Beaver Dam as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know you said you didn't want all this attention, but I got to point out. So
Have to do
you won, and this is from the school. What's the name of the organization again? I always mess it up.
Wisconsin Juvenile Officers Association.
There we go. And they voted you the SRO of the year,
Yep.
I believe, this year. So
For the state of Wisconsin.
for the entire state of Wisconsin, which is fantastic. And I just wanted to say, all the officers from the Beaver Dam Police Department, that we're proud of you. Good job, and you are representing us very, very well, and your schools out there in the state. So that's very cool. Congratulations to you. So
Thank you.
yes, wanted to
Get that out.
People-
Get that
people
plug.
need to hear
we
that,
want to
so,
get that
yep,
plug
yep.
out there. It's positive
Yes,
news. And then what
absolutely.
do we want to know about Madison Street?
Absolutely. Okay, so the construction is back starting today, but it is different this time around. So there's a better detour. You don't need a detour all the way out in 151, I believe, this time. But yes, the south half got handled last year. The north half, this is between Chatham and Rowell Street. Is being handled. It's being completely dug up. All the utilities underneath are being worked on, and we're going to have a nice, smooth road to drive on once this is done later on after summer's over. So it's going to be a long hike, but the detour is better. You will have access to all the businesses there. We are requesting that if you are just passing through, please use the posted detours. If you are going to one of the businesses, you will still have access to the business. Please go to the nearest side road and park there, and then walk into that business there. That's what we're requesting when that road is closed, okay? But yeah, it's a better detour this time around. It's in a little bit of a better spot. It's a little bit more accessible, and it should be hopefully less of a headache this year than it was last year.
Everyone's favorite construction season.
Yeah,
that
that's
time of
right.
year.
Winter's over, start construction season.
That's right. And I want to thank our guests here for joining us on the program today. We have Lieutenant Jeremiah Johnson and officers Matt Edwards and Andy Strakota. Thank you, gentlemen, so much for joining us on the program today.
All
Thanks for
right.
having us.
And that will do it for today's Community Comment.